Before we jump into this video, I'm proud to announce I'll be at the British Grand Prix in just under 2 weeks' time, and you can join me. Yes, our channel sponsor Bybit is offering 2 all-expenses-paid trips, including paddock passes, for the British Grand Prix. All you have to do is click the link in my description or bio and deposit $10 onto the platform, and you'll automatically be entered into this insane competition. And currently, they're offering 0 fees when you deposit using a debit or credit card for the quickest and cheapest way to deposit onto the platform. Full terms and conditions can be found down below in the description below, but hurry, you've only got until June 22nd to get yourself entered, and with a bit of luck, I'll be seeing you at Silverstone. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video, where today we're here back with episode 21 of Season 7 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, just 3 races to go of the My Team series here on F1 2021. I cannot believe, 3 races left of this insane series, just a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support over the entirety of this game cycle. But of course, if you missed out on the last video from Brazil, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment. But yeah, of course, if you're not already, at the time of recording, we're now getting really close to 55,000 subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That helps get one step closer to 60k. But yeah, last time out though, in Brazil, safe to say things didn't quite go our way there. 2 mechanical failures in a row pretty much now guarantees Red Bull have wrapped up the Constructors' Championship. We have pretty much, I think now we have mathematically guaranteed P2 overall there. Mercedes can't take enough points out of us in the final few rounds of the year there. There is still a fantastic battle going on between Mercedes, AlphaTauri and Ferrari there for that sort of 3rd place spot in the championship. However, driver's title is getting super close. 1 point now between myself and George Russell as we head into the final 3 Grand Prix there. Sergio Perez basically needs a miracle now at this stage of the campaign if he wants to try and stick in championship contention. But, say for example, George Russell and I come together this weekend, neither of us score points and Perez takes home the full 26. He is definitely right back towards contention there, but I think, he just probably needs a little bit more than that. But yeah, this weekend though, heading back to Albert Park, I've had to put even more fresh engine components in. I just don't want any penalties between now and the year. I don't want any engine penalties or any failures between now and the end of the year. But yeah, not had a good run of form in recent weekends. Fingers crossed that can turn around as we head back to, for the final time, the old version of Albert Park. Right, well here we are then, back at the old version of Albert Park. I must admit, I actually quite like this layout around the venue, but I can understand why a lot of people didn't particularly. Yeah, unfortunately just haven't featured it too much on F1 2021 there, because it has been a little bit broken throughout a lot of the game, just obviously with the high-speed AI downforce levels, as that is not the line through there. This lap is already going to be a write-off, but yeah, I'm going to miss this version of Albert Park, but I'm also finding I've only done 1 race on the new layout, and I'm already trying to use some of the lines there. Coming to the end of our 2nd run, then trying to use battery at the final corner. We're just going to scrape the green score in the end. That was a difficult challenge. And at the final corner then, about to complete our tyre wear run. Again, another green score, but just scraping them through. Let's get into qualifying. Right, here we are then, qualifying day from the sunny Albert Park there as we head around the final couple of corners. We definitely seem to be on the money, but we're definitely going to need a worldly of a lap if we want to get at least into Q3. There again, obviously just the times are so tightly bunched now. Don't Bottas it. Well, that's not quite the way I wanted to start the session. Looped it round straight away down at turn 2 there, and that's going to be our medium tyres destroyed. Guess we're going to have to jump onto an old set of softs I used in Q1, and then we'll only have 1 fresh set ready for Q3. I did have to do 2 runs in the first session. That's not quite how I wanted that to go, and by the time the team have got the car back ready again for our first proper run on a set of softs, I'm probably going to have to abandon this lap because it is on the old set of tyres. We may as well use it just to get our eye in, and then effectively this qualifying session has just become one shot for us, so you've got to really try and attack the curbs through turn 1 and turn 2 there. Don't do what I did though on that other run. I mean, this lap is all about, yeah, just trying to get our eye in. There is a little bit early on the brakes down at turn 3. Try and tip the car in nice and tidy. Oh, don't clip the grass there. There was the back end again. Tries to break free. Albert Park seems very, very slippery on F1 2021, and I just can't think why, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, we'll try and get this lap
5 minutes of the session remaining.
best as possible. But yeah, if we stay out, we won't have enough time to go for our final run. I mean, this lap has felt pretty nice and tidy there up until I just almost put it on the grass in the final sector. It's just about, yeah, really trying to see the lap. Make sure you're on it, because, yeah, Albert Park is certainly a track you've just got to be very, very committed round. But, yeah, we're only going to get one real run at this then. Let's get into our final run here from Q1. Right, last lap then. This is all or nothing for us here at Albert Park. If we don't get the lap in now, we're going to be starting this race from P16 on the grid. So this needs to be hooked up there. We don't need to take all the risks, but I certainly need a pretty quick lap here if we want to make it through into Q3. Is all just, again, very, very brave, tipping it in through turn 1, but didn't quite maximise the exit off the corner there. Luckily, this Mercedes power unit's got a fair amount of grunt. It's a shame recently it's got a fair amount of grunt until it decides to go bang halfway into a Grand Prix. Don't let this lap unfold. We cannot afford it at this stage of the year. See there again, pushing right up towards the grass there, using all the curbing, everything else that the Albert Park facility has to offer. Just trying to keep the car nice and tidy, avoiding the wheel spin as best as possible to get right up towards the Aramco on the exit of, well, onto what is effectively the back straight there. Oh, big correction though as we went into turn 10. I have never had that before on this wheel. That's that might kill the hype slightly. That was very, very weird there. It didn't decalibrate. It just kind of gave up for a second. Perhaps my wheel's dying. I hope not. It's a pretty new wheel, to be fair. But down in towards the final couple of corners then. Just trying to keep it clean and tidy there as we try and get on the throttle out of the final turn. Activate the DRS then as we head up towards the start-finish line. Where is it going to be by the end of qualifying? It's an 18.3. That should be good enough for Q3. Yeah, P9 though. Oh, that was closer than I thought it would be. And there we go, look at that. Max Verstappen fastest at the end of Q2. We were 4 tenths away in P9 at the end of that session there. So that's kind of crazy. The top 10 separated, yeah, by just 4 tenths of a second in Q2. So if we get a lap hooked up in Q3, I mean, it could still only be P9. We could end up on the front row of the grid there. I mean, 8 cars, less than 2 tenths of a second. That's just how insane F1 2021 has become at this stage of the game there. Ricciardo, P4 for McLaren. Yes, please. Right, well, first run then in Q3 I'm going to do on an old set of tyres there, because we have only got the one fresh set for a final lap here. But yeah, I feel like if we get the lap nailed, we have got the pace to be right up towards the front of the field there. I mean, it's just those little mistakes as we head up through turn 1 and turn 2. Got to be really careful. You want to use as much of that AstroTurf on the inside, but can only get away with so much there. As braking, actually, I seem to be braking slightly early down in towards turn 3. More laps than I'm not there, as this corner should be completely pinned. I've blended the throttle. That's the best line I've done through there. Antonio Giovinazzi sets the pace, though, on a 1:18.7. That's the line I probably needed in my Q2 run there. That was fantastic on the exit as well. Nice and flat. The rear end hooked up beautifully. That line, however, I could certainly do a whole lot better there, as that's going to throw away at least a tenth or so, and that pace will carry on through the final couple of corners there. Verstappen back onto a 17.9. So we just try and tiptoe our way through the final couple of turns there. Really trying to attack that curb as Perez goes half a tenth clear. What are we going to do at the end of the first run? It's another 18.3 there, so that's not bad.
Less than a lap
This
of fuel now.
set of tyres has already done a couple of runs. We got one more shot though. Where on earth are we going to put this thing on the grid? Here in Australia. I forgot where we were then for a second. That's terrible. Right, final run then here from Albert Park in qualifying. Like I keep saying, it's such a difficult lap to try and get nailed. And this one needs to be a worldie as we head back down towards turn 1. Want to brake just after the 100 metre ball there, tip it in 5th, 6th gear on the exit, and then ride the curbs as you head out of the corner. Then make it as wide as possible, braking just at the gantry through the next turn. Now it's coming to the end of their laps there. Oh, George Russell 17.5. That is a phenomenal lap by our fellow Brit there. We went purple through sector 1. It's always sector 3 though. We seem to lose most of our time as tipping it in nice and tidy. And again, the back end just didn't grip up the same way it did in our Q2 run here. Of course, we have got that major mistake down at the bottom of the hill here, and hopefully we'll go back into the green, but only just. I really thought there'd be a bit more time to find on this lap there as well. Just locking up slightly through the penultimate corner. Round in the final corner we go, though, and it's barely going to be an improvement. That's been an awful final attempt there. That's probably going to be P7 at best. That hurts. Nearly a second away from George Russell there. That is scary at the end of qualifying. Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted for the Australian Grand Prix. And George Russell, those are kind of laps you expect from a potential world champion. They're quarter of a second clear of anyone else at the end of Q3. Charles Leclerc, though, splits the Red Bulls on the front row, with Perez and Lando Norris lining up on row 2 there. Verstappen, how few times has he outqualified me this year? But he ends up P5 there. I'm pretty certain my fastest qualifying lap was actually done in Q1 there. We set an 18.0 and just couldn't get back to it. So, yeah, I mean, we could have, I think if we nailed it, like I said, we could have been around sort of the Perez-Leclerc pace, but trying to get a lap hooked up round here is super difficult. Fingers crossed, though, in the race, we can bring out a good strategy and hopefully elevate ourselves up the order. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
It's race day here in Melbourne as we continue with what could shape up to be one of the best Australian Grand Prix. So here we are at the Albert Park circuit, 3.3 miles around the lake, with the street track making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners here, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the rundown into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. George Russell did very well in qualifying yesterday and will start today's race from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Norris, Max Verstappen and Tsunoda, Mr. Monaco, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi and Guan Yu Zhou, Sainz, Bottas, Esteban Ocon and Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Jack Aitken and Nicholas Latifi, Lundgaard, Eilert, Giotto and Robert Schwartzman. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We're in good position for the Constructors' title. There are 3 races left, so we need some good results.
What? Jeff, I don't get this, man, honestly. How can we be pretty much mathematically out of it and Jeff still think we're within a good shot? I really do question it at times. But yeah, ready on the grid then here in Albert Park. Things are about to get interesting. It looks like we're going to get some rain towards the end of the GP there. I think reminiscent to a race we had actually a few seasons ago, if I remember correctly. But yeah, going to underfuel the car as much as possible here. Try and get a good, clean start there. Whether that rain will come early or not at all is a very different question. But of course, we're going to jump onto the hards later on in the afternoon. But let's get ready then here in Albert Park. Starting from P7, our big rival starting from the pole. 5 red lights. And it is going to be a very long hold. Lights out and away we go. There is Tsunoda reacted to that fantastically. I was too busy watching him rather than actually getting the throttle down as we head in towards the first corner there, as we are just going to get squeezed and boxed in at turn 1 there. Antonio Giovinazzi super aggressive as we try and head down in towards the first turn. There, I did not want contact with Zhou. Ooh. What am I meant to do? I just got absolutely murdered down at turn 3 there. I think that was Mazepin trying to stick the nose up. He definitely was, because he's lost his wing there. And a safety car immediately has been deployed.
The safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track.
Multiple stopped vehicles, because I got absolutely destroyed at the first big braking zone of the race. Yeah, not a fan of that start, but at least we've got a safety car, and I only lost 4 places there, so could have been worse. Do we pit end of lap 1 and try to extend the stint? I don't think that's the way to go, although saying that, these tyres are pretty worn after qualifying. I think it might be worth it, to be honest. Right, we're making sure we try and get as far ahead of Nikita Mazepin as possible here as we head into the pit lane. Make sure we get the car slowed down to 37 miles an hour. This is a big, big risk at this early stage of the race there, and it doesn't look like anyone else is going to be pitting, but I just don't think, you know, these tyres are already pretty worn. Trying to extend the stint quite a long way into the Grand Prix there. Yeah, front wing change don't really matter, to be honest. We're going to be 21st either way. We could have potentially thought about going mediums and then had softer, fresher rubber towards the end. But I think, you know, just being on that pretty worn set of tyres there was just going to hinder us more than anything else.
Today. 1 stop left in our strategy.
Yep, Jeff knows the drill, but now we've told him we're going on the mediums.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, team saying the rain is a lot sooner than I ever thought it would be then in the Grand Prix. I mean, 10-15 minutes could easily be lap 10 or so. So, we need to hope that rain doesn't appear anytime soon. In the perfect world, the rain would appear just after all the front runners box. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I feel like Mazepin down at turn 3 might have set the tone for this race. Right, well, safety car in then at the end of lap 3, so I cannot wait to go racing again because we need to try and pick up places as best as possible. George Russell, currently P1. Myself, currently P21 here in Albert Park. You know, we started this, well, actually, no, we didn't start this career mode in Australia, did we? So we started it back in Bahrain during Season 1, but about to go green then here from Australia. And I think, yeah, it looks like George Russell's already gone as we're just all sat through the final couple of corners here. Finally, green flags out. Now we can try and make some progress once more. But again, first lap, got to try and get the tyres up to temperature. As Mazepin, I think, has already just decided he's going to check out at the back.
Before the end of the race, start being a little conservative with the remaining fuel, please.
I think, God, this car is a handful over that inside curve there. I can see why we made that mistake in qualifying. Yeah, just so on edge, but we've got to keep it going. We've got to get smooth and learn this track once more. Even after all those qualifying laps, I don't feel confident here. Motorsportsman's really had such a dull F1 career on this My Team series here. So we're going to try and have a look to the inside of the Haas car. Just didn't have any faith that he'd give me the room on the outside there. So we will now re-inherit P20. Team loving that one. I quite liked that one as well, to be fair. Next up, Latifi. Another man who's had a pretty quiet career in this series. Over the back then of Latifi.
Teammate ahead is 8.5 seconds.
Just see if we can try and force an error out of him down at Q1 there. Not quite that time round. As next lap through, we should get the DRS, but I'm close enough to go for a send on the Williams. Oh, no, I'm not, apparently. That's not the finest, I'll be honest. That was, I think, Rubens Barrichello.
Okay, clear.
I mean, we didn't actually get a warning for it, so the FIA clearly felt he turned in, but, I mean, we did kind of send Latifi to the shadow round. But P19.
Seconds.
This is just the race from hell so far. Right, well, fingers crossed we don't end up doing to Callum Ilott what we did to Nicholas Latifi a lap ago. Fingers crossed we're going to be able to move past the second Williams here nice and soon. Just really trying to attack the curves through there. Launch ourselves off the exit of the corner here. And can we try and look towards the inside of Ilott? Oh, he's going to try and go defensive. We're not having that, thank you very much. We'll squeeze him out on the exit of the corner there.
MFD for a new strategy option.
One of the teams saying now, good, they reckon we can go mediums, but yeah, I think the rain might interrupt that decision. We'll wait and see. Next up, though, Lundgaard. Lundgaard trying to apply pressure to Luca Giotto just in front of him. There's all sorts of battles going on just up the road there. Jack Aitken and Valtteri Bottas going side by side through the next couple of corners, and I think Bottas just got squeezed out. We need to try and make a move, though, work nice and quickly. You know, we need to be picking cars off. As Russell and Perez at the front just in flying formation. Can we try and do a similar move to what we did just one lap ago here? Is Lundgaard going to defend it the same way Ilott did? No, he's not there. He launched up the inside. Squeeze him out again. And now up into P17 there as we just graze the wall on the exit. We should get away with that. Oh, Luca Giotto really struggling at the final corner that time round to the outside of the Italian. Might be catching the car by a second a lap. Oh, a little bit ragged on the exit of the corner, but we'll hang on to that, thank you very much. P16 is now ours. There's Giotto. Look at this, Haas coming back at me. Love to see a bit of fight from the back markers in this career mode. I know I just said a minute ago, I don't know why Ilott was defending, but yeah, good little battle there with Giotto at P16. All over the back now of Bottas, who, oh, hello, I think he's struggling because he's on the medium tyres here early on. So fingers crossed, you know, he's not going to have much fight in him at this stage of the day there, as we've got an Aston Martin and an AlphaTauri
Rain is
starting to get a bit aggressive.
Just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
So team definitely think that rain is on the way, but can we take these tyres another 10 minutes? I'm not convinced. To the inside of Bottas though, big launch there, the fin jumps out of the way. And that one was a proper little dive bomb, as we have got battles going on there. I think Zhou Guanyu has just been displaced by the Aston Martin of Esteban Ocon. Jack Aitken, though, doing a pretty fine job to be battling out.
On track, resulting in loose debris.
Someone's had issues, don't know what that's about. But yeah, Jack Aitken, look at him. Just hanging on to the coattails of a lot more of the midfield runners there, as that was a lot of curb through the chicane. But we get a nice run on the exit there to the outside of Jack Aitken. No, we'll switch back to the inside. Send it on yet another car there. So up to P14 then, making good progress, picking off cars where we can. Not really leaving anyone a chance, as, oh, there we go. A lot of cars into the pits then at the end of lap 9. So a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but, yeah, I mean, they're going to have much fresher rubber than I am later on in the day, but we can't afford to pit again. Verstappen in. We're now up to P8 then of the GP, but interestingly, both Red Bulls stay out. Zhou Guanyu into the pits, Lance Stroll into the pits, and to be honest, that's quite a good thing, because I was getting worried there that Stroll might be able to just stay ahead of me. Mick Schumacher next car up the road there, and yeah, it is Esteban Ocon in that other Aston.
You'll be on the mediums.
Oh, just skim the grass though through turn 1 there. It's fine margins here at Albert Park. You really got to try and maximise the circuit. It's still neither Red Bull in. How are they managing this at the front? They are really trying to extend this stint. It's all over the back of Mick. Just again, though, running wide towards the gravel. Well, we got one Red Bull in, and we have got one Aston Martin in as well there. You can understand the Astons being able to go long, because, of course, they started on fresh tyres there, as it is Perez into the box onto a set of mediums. To the outside of Mick Schumacher, though. And we are now back up then into P2 of the Grand Prix. I guess the other thing is, where is Perez going to re-emerge there? How far behind us? 6 seconds. So we've got to hope the rain arrives and we lose less than 6 seconds to those Red Bulls. I think there might be a bit of parking the bus quite soon. So there we go. End of lap 12. George Russell into the pits. He's also going to be going on to a set of the medium compound tyres. So we are, yeah, going to be back into the lead. Well, I say back into the lead. Into the lead for the first time today here at Albert Park. As the track just starting to get a bit more overcast, we have to try and hang out here for at least a few more laps. Yes, Bottas, I love you. Bottas out. I was going to say earlier on, he's one to watch later on in the race, and he has actually come out ahead of Russell. So if he can extend his tyres to the wet period, where could Bottas find himself come the end of the Grand Prix?
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
I'm hoping to see those drops as soon as possible. It's not often I ask for rain on F1 2021, but today is certainly one of those days. There's Bottas, come on, man. You could have hung out for a few more laps, but no, the Finn not wanting to brave it out then. So we are now going to have George Russell probably gaining in on a rapid rate of knots as Bottas has gone hards. What was the point in that, McLaren? I mean, I can understand why Bottas has boxed in this race. These tyres are feeling awful already.
Being a little more conservative with your fuel, we may not finish at this rate of usage.
You might want to be a little bit more conservative with your radio messages, Jeff. I know what I'm doing, and I'm much worried about the tyres than the fuel at this stage of the day, man. Tyre warning light has just come on. It's not often I have to drag tyres this far in a Grand Prix on F1 2021. It hasn't really been a game where it's worth doing. A lot of the time as well, you know, sort of up towards the 70-80% mark. But today might well be one of those days.
14.2 seconds.
I mean, if we box again, we're still going to come out, I think, right towards the tail end of the points there, as Nikita Mazepin was still hanging around. But now, yeah, George Russell right behind me. We're going to have to target our inner Sergio Perez here. The Minister of Defence has got to come out. George Russell should be able to get a run on me now as we head down the back straight. I'm going to give him a big, big squeeze. And we're going to try and keep the nose on the inside there and just hang him out on the exit of the corner. This is, yeah, prime Sergio Perez Abu Dhabi last year. And at the moment... Oh, there's the rain! Yes! Please! Absolutely bucket it down now! I mean, we're on destroyed tyres. It's not going to be a fun couple of laps, but I need the heavens to well and truly open here in Melbourne if we want to try and launch ourselves back into at least race contention. Never mind championship contention there is already. Ria's just starting... Oh, sorry, front starting to lock down towards turn 1 there. Ria's struggling to find the grip on the exit. To the outside, George Russell goes. Oh, a little bit of contact as I'm just going to send it in towards turn 3 there and force him to back out again.
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
No, I don't want to hear that message there as well. There we go. Russell again round the outside in towards turn 10. This will be brave, but he's done it. George Russell retakes the lead of the Grand Prix there. Sergio Perez going to get to the inside as well there. So both Red Bulls are going to sneak through in one instance here. I just don't have the grip to try and defend if they get to the inside there. But George Russell, what a ballsy move that was. Is someone retiring from the Grand Prix or someone spun around? I think it's Verstappen, and we've got another safety car. I have to box. I have to box onto intermediate tyres here, or no, we can box onto softs, can't we, or mediums even. Because that way, if it is wet, then everyone will have to pit anyway. If it's not, then we've effectively been given a much better pit stop there. But yeah, I think Verstappen went round in the gravel trap, so we've been given a bit of a lifeline. I really don't know whether that was worth going inters or staying on the mediums, but I don't think we can afford to risk too much. There's 1.9 second stop from the team. Absolutely loving that. And we are going to re-emerge a little bit further up the order. They're going to be racing Ocon on pit exit. Oh, I wanted to try and stay ahead of him there, but P9 will re-emerge on fresher, quicker rubber than most of our opposition. Now, I'm going to hope the rain doesn't arrive.
The tyre situation is pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The inters are ready when you need them.
I think that might be the call then. I think safety car's not in this lap. I think we've got to take the gamble. I reckon we box now, wait for the track to get wet enough again, and then we should be good. I think everyone else still is on the dry tyres. I was hoping... No, safety car's in! Oh no, we have to stay out then for at least one more, I fear, here. Is it worth the gamble? This could be championship defining.
This rain is going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes.
We've got a box. I just think we've got a box now.
We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Oh, this is so dramatic late on in the year, though. I'm kind of hoping Verstappen's actually pit onto a set of inters. But we've got to come in now. We've got to try and get the undercut. Are we going to see anyone else peel into the pit lane? Yeah, everyone's coming in, apart from Carlos Sainz has opted to stay out here. I almost Kimi Räikkönen it on the way into the pit lane, and now it's going to be carnage down in the lane because everyone is trying to stay out, or sorry, everyone's trying to box in there. We've got one Red Bull, one Mercedes, and one Alpine, I think a Haas and a Williams there. Look at that, everyone's been held up towards the rear of the field. George Russell, I think, has been caught out during all of this. Charles Leclerc up in a P7, and we've got ahead of everyone. Look at that, straight up now. We're still P8 then. After we've pitted, we got most runners have stayed out for another lap there, so both Red Bulls must have got boxed in behind the Mercedes garage there, the Mercedes stall, and now Charles Leclerc effectively is in the net lead of this Grand Prix with just a handful of laps to go there. George Russell's way down in the midfield, and Perez is practically last.
DRS will be offline.
As we've now got someone falling to the wayside there. I think that's McLaren breaking down. It's all kicking off in Albert Park. No, it's the homeboy, Daniel Ricciardo, out of the Australian Grand Prix. But what have these last few laps turned into? Suddenly, we've gone from down and out to effectively net P2 now with Russell and Perez. A 1-2 stronghold earlier on, now right down in the mid-pack. Everyone else, as you would expect, into the pits then at the end of lap 20 there. And we are, yeah, now going to be P2 in the Grand Prix. Of course, Charles Leclerc won the race back at Shanghai, round 2 of the year, if I remember correctly, and hasn't had much great fortune since then. But now he's got a 2.5 second lead with 8 laps to go here in Albert Park. Can we close up and ruin Ferrari's party? I mean, funnily enough, I remember back at Shanghai, it was a battle between Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon for the race victory. And now, Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon both in podium contention here in Albert Park as well, though. I mean, we are taking a lot of time at Charles at the moment. Chuck, I love you, mate, but, I mean, if we weren't in such a tight championship battle, maybe I'd let you and Ferrari get some glory today, but we need every point we can possibly get at this stage of the campaign there. No idea what's happened to Verstappen as well. He's had to pit again, so he's practically half a lap behind everyone now. But yeah, I mean, Russell, he's just sat in about P7 here behind one of the Alpines. That must be Giovinazzi. How has it all gone away from Red Bull so late on? They were in control. We were down and out early on in this race. We thought we'd nailed the strategy, and then I thought that might have even been over. And now, you never can give up in Formula 1 because we are battling Charles Leclerc for the lead of the Grand Prix there. The tables have well and truly turned this weekend as the race has unfolded, but we've still got to make the move work and also keep it on the island. Come on then, Charles Leclerc. We seem to be able to get a nice run out the final corner on him. Are we going to be able to make a move work this time round? So we'll activate the DRS there. You can see the rain lights blinking away on Charles Leclerc's Ferrari there. He's going to go defensive back in towards turn 1. Oh, just moved around a little bit there, but we get a good apex still, as he's going to take way too much curb.
Stay alert out there.
Rain is going to be here right through to the very end, though. It's to the outside of Charles Leclerc there, way later on the brakes. Oh, a little bit of contact, actually, as Charles, I think, just tripped over himself and pinched him on the apex. But we now take the lead here in Albert Park once again there. I would have never predicted that. Remember, lap 1, Nikita Mazepin absolutely turned us around and caused a roadblock, and somehow we have battled against all the odds today. Now I just got to hope the engine hangs on. Around in the final couple of turns then, about to start the last lap here from Bahrain? From Australia, even I should say, Albert Park. And what a race this has turned out to be. I've been sort of sat here thinking over the last few laps, just trying to keep it on the island. I think, you know, this is our version of Perez's win in Sakir there. Facing the wrong way lap 1, pretty much in last place. They're not quite last that Sergio was in, but I mean, we were 21st. Let's not forget that. Decent recovery, got right back up towards the front, took a gamble on the tyres, and at the end of the day, it looks like we're going to walk away with the 25 points here. It was a fantastic race then, and it's a fantastic race here as well. George Russell, I'm sure, will be kicking himself. Red Bull, exactly the same there. Just the bad luck, you know. It had, effectively, had they not won last year's World Championship, they wouldn't have had the first grid box on F1 2021, or the first grid in the pit lane. Obviously, for some reason, we always end up right at the far end anyway. But yeah, had they not won that last year, they wouldn't have been in that grid slot, and they wouldn't have been absolutely screwed. So maybe Red Bull winning last year's Constructors has inadvertently cost them this year's driver's title. We'll have to wait and see, though. We've still got 2 more big races to go before the end of the campaign. But round in the final few corners then, here from Albert Park, I would have never expected this, especially after qualifying, especially with after the early stage of the race we've had. But we took the gamble today. It all fell into place, and round in the final corner, we're going to open up the championship lead once again. I'm happy we've made it to the finish as much as anything else.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Australian Grand Prix there, and yes, 7th on the grid, an extra pit stop over most of the other runners, and we walk away with the race victory there. Doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, P1 in the bag there, Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon rounding out the podium ahead of Lando Norris, our fantastic P4 by our fellow Brit there. Sainz ahead of Russell, so George ending up, yeah, P6 when all is said and done there. Jack Aitken, though, for Alfa Romeo, gets their 2nd points of the year. Then we got both Mercedes, and even more impressively, Luca Giotto got points for Haas there. They've got another point on the board, which I think means Williams are going to not score points. Oh, sorry, going to finish last for the first time on F1 2021 there. Yeah, Luca Giotto finishing ahead of Mick Schumacher when all is said and done there. And Giovinazzi must have retired on the final lap of the Grand Prix. They're gifting Giotto that chance for a point there. Yeah, he must have done because he got a 1:09. Fastest lap apparently, but there we go. Championship standings, the gap immediately opens up to 18 points there between myself and George. So I mean, if we win next weekend, that's it all over. We will wrap up the championship. Depends obviously on fastest laps, I must admit, but yeah, that is basically all done and dusted there. Perez with that rough result, he's out of it now. It is a 2-horse race between myself and George Russell in the final 2 races there. Sainz jumps Giovinazzi further down the order there. Yeah, Jack Aitken, 8 points on the board. Now jumps Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin there. And Giotto lifts Haas from the ashes, means they won't finish last this year. There you can see on the Constructors' Championship. 13 points separate 3rd through 5th in the Constructors' table. And yeah, Haas jumping Williams with that 1 point there. That could be critical in the future for the survival of that team. But we're 62 back from from Red Bull. It's not impossible, but we'll still need a miracle in the final 2 races of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. And we'll return very, very soon for the penultimate My Team race of F1 2021. We'll be back on the Jeddah Street Circuit. You guys do not want to miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members. So a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below. And yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.